cities or even strip clubs in the world that people used to live and go there once and now they're not because these cities are underwater is really strange. I mean, why would it go underwater in the first place? Was it a flood? A tsunami? How did they end up sinking underwater? Were people living their normal life when it happened? These are some of the questions that we may ask ourselves. Please watch this video until the end to get familiar with some of the most beautiful and special cities which are now underwater and abandoned due to unknown reasons. Don't forget to subscribe to the About It All YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up to support us. The lost city of Thonis Heraklion in ancient Egypt is one of the greatest submerged discoveries ever. For thousands of years, it has been hidden underwater. Its existence was recorded only in a few rare inscriptions and ancient texts, according to the National Geographic website. This port flourished at the mouth of the Nile in the 7th century BC. The port city was also known as Thonis to the Egyptians and Heraklion to the Greeks. It flourished as a vital center for trade and culture and then disappeared when it was suddenly flooded. The city of Heraklion was located about 32 kilometers, 20 miles, northeast of Alexandria on the Mediterranean Sea, and its remains are found in the Gulf of Abyukur. Evidence was found at the site indicating that the city was known late in its history by its Egyptian and Greek names. The mythical beginnings of Thonis date back to the 12th century BC and were mentioned by ancient Greek historians, and its importance grew especially during the last days of the pharaohs at the end of the 2nd century BC and possibly after a severe flood. The land on which the central island of Heraklion was built underwent soil liquefaction. Solid clay quickly turned into liquid and buildings collapsed in the water. A small number of residents remained in the Roman era and the beginning of the Arab conquest. But by the end of the 8th century AD, what remained of Thonis sank underwater. Xicheng, Chunan County, Zhejiang, China. An ancient city established about 1,300 years ago, now lies at the 26 to 40 meter depths underwater. The city and the valley were deliberately flooded in 1959 in order to create an artificial lake and hydroelectric power station. Now it could be a unique paradise for drivers. Xicheng was purposely flooded to create a space for a hydroelectric dam on government orders. Approximately 300,000 people were relocated as a result of the project. The former residents were connected with the Lion City by basis of ancestry and culture. Xicheng was believed to be the most prominent Chinese city that remains well preserved. Many of its homes, temple structures, and paved roads were preserved by being 131 feet underwater. In this way, it was protected from wind, rain, and sun damage. The city has 5 entrance gates, which is different than the traditional 4. The stone architecture dates to the Ming and Shang dynasties. Xicheng's streets contain 265 archways with surviving stonework that dates to 1777 and the city walls date to the 16th century. The Chinese government planned an expedition to explore the remains of the lost metropolis in 2001. When the city was rediscovered, in 2011, pictures and graphics were published by the Chinese National Geography, which sparked interest among the general public and researchers to explore. Surprisingly, the city hasn't eroded much, and the buildings, walls, even wooden details remained. Currently, a film crew is commissioned to record the ancient city. The archaeologists are overwhelmed by how well preserved Xicheng is. However, there are no tourist facilities for diving, but hopefully in the future the site will be open for everyone to view. Ramu Underwater Prison. It's unlikely that those interred in the Soviet prison ever imagined that the quarry they were forced to work in would someday become a beautiful diving spot. But it's a weird world, and time is long. The ruins of the abandoned prison camp outside the small Estonian town of Ramu were once a dreaded stone edifice, but are now a beach attraction. The prison was already established in the 1940s by the Soviet Union. It was built in a convenient location on the lip of a limestone quarry in which the inmates were forced to toil. The seemingly impenetrable walls of the prison were not to last forever. When Estonia regained its independence in 1991, the Soviets moved out and many of their institutions fell, including the labor prison at Ramu. Both the prison and the quarry were abandoned in the changeover. Without anyone to look after the natural groundwater that seeped into the former quarry, it soon filled up with water, creating a new lake with alarming speed. It filled up so fast that many of the mining machines and even some of the buildings were swallowed whole by the rising waters. Today, some of the former prison can still be seen on land as parts of the structure stick out from the crystal-clear lake waters. The spot has become a prime location for divers and adventurous beachgoers who come for the sunken ruins beneath the waves. Memphis Show Bar, an abandoned underwater strip club off the coast of Israel. Memphis Show Bar is located in Eilat, Israel. Unfortunately, it's now abandoned, though it was once home to many great exotic dancers. The strip club may be located at one of the world's most beautiful travel destinations, but it appears to have been mysteriously abandoned by its once regular clientele. Perhaps its venue, several feet below water level, was just too off-putting. The Memphis Show Bar, which still features a stripper's pole, was rediscovered by photographer Gil Kaplovitz during a dive off the coast of Eilat in Israel. This area, strangely enough, and all of the photos were taken by Gil Kaplovitz, a marine biologist who just happened to be working in the area and decided to snap a few pictures. It has been described as the world's most bizarre nude dancing club, but even Kaplovitz is unsure how long the club has been lying underwater empty. While the club has lost its attraction, Kaplovitz's pictures have caught people's imagination, capturing the eerie beauty of modern-day's ruin. The scene is called abandoned porn, and his photos have left many people more intrigued than they would be by images of an ordinary strip club. Taken through the windows of the rusted destination, they show the once glossy, pristine interior. Chairs and most of the tables have been removed, but the stage and the pole remain. An empty bottle of mineral water has been left on one of the few remaining pieces of furniture. The only ones showing any interest in the club now are the fish having a peek through the windows as they swim past. I hope you find this video interesting enough to share. Please give it a thumbs up and tell us what you think in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the About It All YouTube channel and ring the notifications bell in order not to miss our next videos. Thank you for watching About It All.